Have you ever looked at a loved one and thought, this person deserves better than spending their final years in a sterile hallway, surrounded by strangers? If you've been told that a nursing home is the only safe option once daily tasks become challenging, I want you to know something important. That's simply not true. Today, we're going to explore 4 powerful alternatives that allow older adults to maintain their independence, stay connected to what matters most, and live with dignity in environments that feel like home. These aren't theoretical ideas. They're real solutions that thousands of seniors are using right now to create lives far richer than what any institution could offer. Let's start with something that might seem obvious but is often dismissed too quickly: aging in place. This means staying in your own home with the right support systems in place. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. How can someone with mobility issues or memory concerns safely remain in their home? The answer lies in combining smart modifications with thoughtful support networks. And the results can be truly life-changing. Think about your home for a moment. You know where everything is. You have memories attached to every room. Your neighbors know your name. Your routines are established. That familiarity isn't just comforting. It's actually therapeutic. Studies show that seniors who remain in familiar environments experience less confusion, better sleep, and even improved cognitive function compared to those who relocate to unfamiliar settings. But staying home safely does require planning. Let's talk about the practical modifications that make aging in place possible. We're talking about improvements that genuinely enhance safety without making your home feel like a hospital. Better lighting throughout the house, especially in hallways and staircases, can prevent falls. Slip-resistant flooring in bathrooms and kitchens provides stability. Grab bars strategically placed near toilets, showers, and beds offer support exactly where you need it. Stair lifts can make multi-story homes accessible again. These aren't expensive overhauls. They're targeted improvements that address specific challenges. Then there's technology, which has become remarkably sophisticated while remaining surprisingly simple to use. Motion-activated lights mean you never have to fumble for a switch in the dark. Voice-activated assistants can set reminders for medications, make phone calls, or even call for help without requiring you to reach for a device. Fall detection sensors can alert family members or emergency services if something goes wrong. Smart thermostats maintain comfortable temperatures without manual adjustment. The beauty of these technologies is that they work quietly in the background, supporting your independence without making you feel monitored or controlled. But here's what really makes aging in place work: the human element. Technology and modifications are important, but emotional and social support makes the real difference. This might mean a part-time caregiver who comes in a few times a week to help with tasks that have become difficult. It might mean neighbors who check in regularly. It could be family members who visit often, or friends from your community who remain engaged in your life. This combination of physical safety and emotional connection creates an environment where independence flourishes. Consider Harold's story. At 70 years old, after a minor stroke, his children immediately started researching nursing homes. They were convinced it was the responsible thing to do. But Harold wasn't ready to leave the house where he'd raised his family. Instead, they worked with an occupational therapist who assessed his home and recommended specific modifications. They installed grab bars, improved the lighting, and arranged for a part-time caregiver to visit 3 mornings a week. Harold remained in his home, continued his woodworking hobby in his garage, and maintained the quality of life that mattered to him. 5 years later, he's still there, still independent, and infinitely happier than he would have been in an institution. The core insight here is simple but profound. Aging in place combines physical safety with emotional well-being in a way that nursing homes simply cannot replicate. Your home represents freedom. It represents the life you've built. When you can maintain that connection while addressing safety concerns, you preserve something essential to your identity and happiness. Now let's explore our second alternative. Shared living communities, sometimes called co-housing or senior cooperatives. These arrangements offer something beautifully balanced. Private living spaces that are entirely your own, combined with shared communal areas where residents gather, socialize, and support one another. Imagine having your own apartment with your own kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom, but also having access to a larger shared kitchen where residents cook meals together, a garden where everyone contributes, and common rooms where people gather for activities, conversations, or simply companionship. These communities are designed specifically to combat one of the most serious health threats facing older adults: loneliness. Research has shown that chronic loneliness is as damaging to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, and early death. When older adults become isolated, their physical health deteriorates rapidly. Shared living communities address this directly by making social connection a natural, daily part of life. The structure is democratically operated. Residents make decisions together about how the community functions, what activities are offered, how shared spaces are used, and how resources are allocated. This means you maintain control over your living environment in ways that nursing home residents simply cannot. You're not following someone else's rules. You're participating in creating the community you want to live in. Financial benefits are significant too. By sharing costs for maintenance, utilities, transportation, and services, residents often find these arrangements more affordable than traditional retirement communities or assisted living facilities. And unlike nursing homes, where costs can be astronomical, shared living communities provide high-quality housing without depleting your savings. Barbara's experience illustrates this beautifully. At 74, after her husband passed away, she faced a choice many widows confront: stay alone in a house that felt too big and too empty, move in with her daughter's family, or explore alternatives. She discovered a senior co-housing community in her city, where she now has a comfortable one-bedroom apartment. Several evenings a week, residents gather for shared dinners where everyone contributes either by cooking, setting up, or cleaning. She's developed close friendships with her neighbors. They help each other with small tasks, share transportation to appointments, and provide companionship that makes every day feel purposeful. Barbara says she's never felt more supported or more independent at the same time. The core insight here is that independence and connection aren't opposites. They support each other. When you have strong social ties and genuine community, you actually become more capable of maintaining your independence because you have people who care about you and can help when needed. Shared living communities recognize this fundamental truth and build it into their design. Our third alternative brings professional care directly to your home through home care networks. These comprehensive services deliver everything you might receive in a nursing home: skilled nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, meal preparation, medication management, personal care assistance, and companionship, all in the comfort of your own home. This isn't just having someone stop by occasionally, it's coordinated, professional care tailored specifically to your needs. What makes home care networks particularly effective is their flexibility. Unlike nursing homes with rigid schedules and routines designed around institutional efficiency, home care adapts to your life. You prefer to sleep until 9 in the morning? That's fine. You want physical therapy in the afternoon when you feel most energetic? No problem. You need help with bathing but want to maintain privacy in other areas? Absolutely. The care schedule serves you, not the other way around. Technology plays a crucial role in coordinating this care. Digital platforms allow nurses, therapists, primary care doctors, specialists, and family members to communicate seamlessly, sharing updates about your condition, adjusting treatment plans, and ensuring everyone stays informed. Remote monitoring can track vital signs and alert healthcare providers to potential problems before they become emergencies. Virtual appointments reduce the need for transportation to medical offices. All of this happens while you remain in your own home, surrounded by your own belongings, following your own routines. Financially, home care networks often prove more sustainable than nursing homes. Medicare covers many home health care services, particularly following hospitalization. Supplemental insurance policies frequently include home care benefits, and even when paying out of pocket, the cost of home care typically runs significantly lower than nursing home fees, which can easily exceed $6,000 per month. George's story demonstrates this perfectly. At 82, after suffering a stroke, his doctors recommended immediate placement in a nursing facility for rehabilitation and long-term care. But George had spent 50 years building a life in his small apartment filled with books, photographs, and memories of his late wife. He wasn't ready to leave. Working with a home care agency, his daughter arranged for a visiting nurse to come 3 times a week, a physical therapist for daily exercises, and a home health aide for assistance with bathing and meal preparation. George received professional, high-quality care while maintaining his independence and connection to his home. His recovery progressed faster than his doctors expected, something they attributed partly to his emotional well-being and motivation to stay independent. The core insight here is that professional medical care and home living aren't mutually exclusive. With proper coordination and the right services, you can receive excellent health care without sacrificing your autonomy, privacy, or connection to the environment that gives your life meaning. Our fourth alternative might be the oldest solution that's experiencing a modern revival. Intergenerational living, where multiple generations share space while respecting each person's privacy and autonomy. This doesn't mean recreating the crowded, boundaryless households of the past. Modern intergenerational living incorporates design elements that provide independence within connection. Separate suites with private entrances. Accessory dwelling units, sometimes called granny flats, built on the same property as a family home. Duplex arrangements where families live side by side. The goal is proximity without intrusion, support without dependence. The benefits extend in both directions. For older adults, living with or very near family provides emotional support that reduces depression and stress. It strengthens their sense of identity and contribution because they remain actively involved in family life. They witness their grandchildren growing up. They participate in daily routines and celebrations. They maintain their role within the family structure. For younger generations, having grandparents involved in daily life teaches empathy, patience, and respect for aging. Children develop stronger family values and learn firsthand that aging is a natural part of life, not something to fear or hide away. Financially, intergenerational living creates significant savings for everyone involved. Families share housing costs, utilities, and often childcare responsibilities. Older adults contribute financially through rent or shared expenses, while typically paying far less than they would for assisted living or nursing care. The arrangement often allows adult children to provide care for aging parents without sacrificing their careers, because other family members share responsibilities. Linda's situation shows how this works in practice. At 80, she needed more support than living alone could provide, but she wasn't ready for a nursing home. Her son and daughter-in-law built a small studio apartment attached to their home with a separate entrance, a kitchenette, and a private bathroom. Linda maintains her independence, managing her own daily routine, but joins the family for dinner several times a week and babysits her grandchildren after school. She contributes to household expenses and feels valued rather than burdensome. Her family benefits from her presence, wisdom, and the extra hands during busy times. Most importantly, Linda feels loved, needed, and connected to something larger than herself. The core insight with intergenerational living is that family-centered care nurtures belonging and meaning in ways that institutions cannot replicate. It transforms aging from an isolated experience into a shared journey. It reminds everyone involved that getting older doesn't mean becoming disconnected from the people and purposes that make life worth living. Now, I want to address something important. None of these alternatives are about denying that care needs exist or pretending that aging doesn't come with challenges. They absolutely do, and it absolutely does. What these alternatives recognize is that care needs don't automatically require institutional settings. That declining physical abilities don't mean losing the right to make choices about your own life. That needing help doesn't mean surrendering independence. Growing older does not mean losing control or freedom unless we accept that as inevitable. And we shouldn't. Each of these four alternatives prioritizes dignity, independence, and connection. They acknowledge that where you live, who surrounds you, and how much control you maintain over daily decisions profoundly impacts your quality of life, your mental health, and even your physical well-being. They recognize that humans are social beings who thrive on meaningful relationships and familiar environments. They understand that independence isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about making choices, maintaining autonomy, and living according to your own values and preferences. The most important thing you can do is plan early. Don't wait until a health crisis forces rushed decisions. Have conversations with family members now about what matters most to you. Research the options available in your community. Visit shared living communities if they exist nearby. Talk to home care agencies about services and costs. Consider how your current home could be modified to support aging in place. Explore whether intergenerational living might work for your family. The more you understand your options, the better equipped you'll be to make choices that align with your values and desires. Talk to your doctor, your financial advisor, and your family about realistic assessments of your current and future needs. Be honest about what you can manage independently and what might require support. This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about being prepared. When you understand the full range of possibilities, you can create a plan that feels right for you, rather than simply accepting what others say is necessary. Remember that these alternatives aren't all-or-nothing propositions. You might age in place for years, then transition to a shared living community if your needs change. You might combine home care services with intergenerational living arrangements. You might start with minimal support and gradually add more services as needed. Flexibility and adaptability are strengths, not weaknesses. Life changes, and your living arrangements can change with it while still prioritizing your independence and dignity. I want you to leave this conversation with something clear in your mind. Nursing homes are not inevitable. They are one option among many, and for most people, they're far from the best option. You have choices, more choices than most people realize, choices that can allow you to live out your years with purpose, connection, and control over your own life. That's not wishful thinking. It's the reality that thousands of older adults are living right now through aging in place, shared living communities, home care networks, and intergenerational arrangements. So here's what I want you to do today. If you found this information valuable, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe it's a friend facing difficult decisions about a parent's care. Maybe it's your own adult children who need to understand that nursing homes aren't the only responsible option. Maybe it's other seniors in your community who deserve to know they have choices. Leave a comment telling me which of these alternatives resonates most with you, or share your own experience with alternatives to nursing homes. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to find hope and direction. And subscribe to this channel, because we're committed to providing practical, empowering information that helps you take control of your health and your future at every stage of life. Growing older doesn't mean giving up. It means making informed choices that honor who you are and what matters most to you. You deserve nothing less.